Imagine spending a vacation in the Italian countryside or at a villa in Provence, France, touring the area with friends and tasting wine at every stop. Now imagine that's your actual job, something that you get paid for. Well, actors Matthew Rhys, Matthew Good, James Purefoy, and Dominic West get to do just that, enjoying wine, food, and each other's company to make the wine show. And this season, they tackle Portugal's Douro Valley. Joining us now is one of the hosts of the wine show, Emmy-winning actor Matthew Rhys. Welcome to the show, Matthew.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And I would like to qualify, it's an incredibly difficult job drinking wine from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's incredibly hard. I tell you what's hard is after about 11:30 a.m., it's hard to find a superlative that's A, original or coherent that you haven't already said. And the producers shout at you things like, stop saying you'd buy this bottle at Christmas.
We feel your pain of drinking wine and getting paid for it. We get it. We get it. So before we talk about season 3, which just premiered, tell me, how did you manage to swing this gig? Is it even a job for you? I mean, you said that it's hard, but does it really feel like work?
Listen, I've lived on the horns of a dilemma about saying this to people, because the people you do say, you go, actually, I found it quite hard having a hangover for a whole month or getting up at 8 a.m. and doing a first tasting. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Yes, I did find it a little bit hard being that drunk all day. I know it sounds terrible. But yes, my appreciation for people like Joe Fattorini, who was our OB, Wine Kenobis, we called him, who could actually do proper tastings throughout the whole day and still find the tasting notes and you know, guide us through the wine. My hat came off to, because I couldn't quite believe people can actually do that on a marathon level. But yes, on the flip side, is it's the dream job. And Matthew Good's brother-in-law is a very successful television producer, always wanted to do a show about wine, and one day said to Matthew Good, he says, I've got the wine master. I just need 2 idiots who like wine but know nothing about it. And Matthew Good went, what about me, Matthew Rhys? And that was basically it.
Yeah, I can imagine after that second glass, it's kind of hard to stick your nose in and say, oh, I think right now I'm deciphering the lavender and the cherry and the leather, right? But this season you added a new co-host, actor Dominic West, who said that on his first day of shooting, he was confused about exactly what to do because he wasn't even acting a role. He even asked the producers, who am I? Is that hard for you, being yourself and talking among your friends rather than acting, or does the wine help with all that?
Well, yes, you've hit the nail on the head. The wine certainly helps with all of that, and I agree with Dominic. You know, we'd done it for a couple of seasons prior, but I'd never really presented where you're looking down the camera, which felt so alien to us. Where you're not given a script, you know, you have to come up with your own words. Hard as that may seem, you're not given a costume. You realize how much you can hide, or how much structure is given for you, you know, to camouflage or to hide within scripted drama, which is usually what we do. But as you very, very astutely pointed out, the wine certainly helps with getting over those hurdles.
And let's talk about season 3, which was focused entirely on Portugal. However, your adventure was a bit closer to home, New York City, where you toured with co-host Joe Fratiani. Here's a highlight.
Right, now then, where would you like to begin? My personal favourite usually is a bagel and lox. Okay. A huge fan of the white fish. The bialys I love also. Hala.
What? Bialis?
Bialy.
Bialy?
Bialy.
A bialy?
A bialy.
A bialy.
Yes.
Right.
Try one with some lox.
You were at the iconic Russ and Daughters in the Lower East Side. How did a Welshman become an expert in Jewish deli?
Russ and Daughters has a very warm place in our hearts. It certainly, you know, I remember when just after Kerry had our child, it was Russ and Daughters that certainly helped with the breastfeeding for her, the refueling, and with our family, you know, we always are grabbing bagels for the kids. But this was such an incredible treat that I wasn't running in just getting toasted plain bagels with cream cheese and butter. I was allowed to sit down at Russ and Daughters with some incredible wine and actually take my time over this incredible breakfast. So that was a real treat. That was one of those moments when the show affords a luxury that I certainly have never experienced. I'm sure we'll never experience again. But yes, I was filming something else when all the boys went to Portugal. So my segments were pairing wine, or Joe was pairing wines with the incredible variety of cuisine that New York has to offer.
And you took Joe to some of your favorite restaurants to talk about pairing wine with the varied international cuisine that New York City is known for, even some ethnic restaurants that don't really have the tradition of serving wine. What did you learn?
You know, it's hard to begin to answer that question, because what it certainly did was it reminded me and made me appreciate even more the wealth of diversity that there is in New York. I appreciated the city for what it is, which is made up of this multicultural, multi-ethnic, beautiful melting pot that everyone has brought, their traditions and their cuisines from wherever. And I was so overjoyed to be a part of a lot of those stories, because inevitably you go to a restaurant in New York, you don't know the story behind the person who opened that restaurant, where they came from. So that was another element that the show afforded, was to get to know all these incredible stories. And, I'd never been to a Portuguese restaurant in New York, and that opened my eyes to that. And just being allowed into these kitchens was just such an incredible treat.
After 3 seasons of doing this deep dive into the world of wine, is there something that you've discovered, region or a type of wine, that has become your absolute favorite, something that you feel like might often be overlooked?
I think our very first few days, or the first week, or the first anything of the wine show was where we were in Italy, in Chianti, where they make Chianti Classico, which has become the firm favorite in my heart. But simply because Joe, I remember saying, he says, ironic, we're starting here, because he said, everyone always asks me, what should I bring? Give me the standard bearer, the one wine that you can't go wrong with. And he maintains it's Chianti Classico, if it has the black cockerel on the label that proves it was made in the region. So my eyes have been open to Chianti Classico. It's remained with me, and I stand by his words. You can take a bottle to any event, any meal, and it will pair usually very well and stand up to its name.
Well, before I let you go, let me beg and plead that for the next season, I'm available. But more important than that, congratulations on your 5th Emmy nomination, this time for the role of Perry Mason. We wish you the very best of luck. Matthew Rhys, thank you so much for your time. Seasons 1, 2, and 3 of The Wine Show are available on Sundance now.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.